Good morning, everyone. I think this next song, our opening song, is one of those that we're going to want to rise in body or spirit. It's Enter, Rejoice, and Come In, which is hymn number 361 in your hymnals. And the chorale is going to be joining us along the side as soon as John starts playing the intro. Here we go. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Open your doors and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. We are gathered here this morning tenderly, like drops of dew on a leaf of grass, hopefully, like gathered raindrops in a cloud, gleefully, like water in a stream rushing to the sea, deeply, like groundwater pulled up from a well. We gather from all directions for another year of growth and depth, another year of companionship and hope, another year of learning to love this world. We gather like all of the water that joins us across all of creation. Water connects us within and without, merging and flowing across the entire world. Like water, we gather. So come and let us worship together. As we begin our service, let us take a moment to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional land of the Duwamish people, stewards of this land in the past and the present. With humility and gratitude, we honor this land and the Duwamish tribe, and we commit to our role in the story of repair. Whoever you are, wherever you have come from, whatever the color of your skin, whoever and however you love, however your body moves and your brain works, however you identify, you are welcome in this church community. Our Unitarian Universalist tradition has no test of faith, no creed or oath to swear. We have instead the promises that we make to one another, commitments we make to healing a hurting world within and beyond these walls. Welcome, everyone.
And now, as we do when we begin every service and most gatherings, we take a moment to light our chalice. Our chalice lighter today is Cindy Jackson. Cindy, would you please come forward? And our chalice lighting words are from Katie Sivani Gelfand. This chalice is the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist heritage. We light this chalice as a symbol of reunion. We reunite in the sanctuary to share the flow of our hearts with one another. We gather together in ritual to celebrate our fountains of joy, to hold each other through storms of grief. to guide one another through rapids of transformation, to rest together on ponds of stillness. Together, we honor the spirit of water in its many forms and its life-giving essence. And now, as Cindy lights our chalice, please join us in speaking the words of our congregation's affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship. Thus do we covenant with one another. Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. So, welcome to the Westside Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I'm Lisa Reitzes, a member of the worship team, and it is a great joy to be gathering with all of you here in the sanctuary and wherever remotely as we kick off the new church year with today's service on the theme, At the Confluence of Our Lives. So if you're with us for the first time, or the first time in a while, especially welcome. We're so glad you're here, both here in the sanctuary and joining online, to make space in your life to attend to your heart and your spirit, to come together here in community. So please visit our website, which you can do by scanning the QR code on the laminated card in the pews, where you can visit our, fill out a welcome form so we can get to know you a bit better, and also especially send you our weekly electronic newsletter, The Westside Week. It is so good to see familiar and new faces today, as we always, when we come back from this summer of wherever we have been. Let us now take a few moments to greet the neighbors around us. As always, and especially today, it's great to see such enthusiastic greetings and meetings. Please stick around. We hope you continue these conversations after our service today at our special Ingathering coffee hour. You'll hear more about it later. So each week, congregants who agree to light our chalice are given a chance to respond to a question or to read and reflect on a poem that is meaningful to them. This is a chance for us to get to know them better, and for us here to invite more voices into our chancel. So Cindy Jackson has agreed graciously to offer us a poem.
Good morning. I'll start. It's probably one you've heard before. To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breathed easier because I have lived. This is to have succeeded. Anybody heard that before? I'm sure. It's been on greeting cards and everything. But this poem by Ralph Waldo Emerson and from 1841. And you know, he was a Unitarian minister and an essayist and a poet. And doing a little research, I found that another woman, Bessie Stanley from Kansas in 1907, had her version of the same poem. So AI tells us a lot. But that's not as important to me as the significance of the poem. In the 80s, a long time ago, I was wifing, parenting, teaching, serving, you know, all the things we do in our 30s. And I had the question, am I making a difference? Because I had a little time to fill, and how do I fill it? So I did what most UUs do, most teachers do. I read, I talked to friends, I joined a group of women, thinking, oh, women know they're wise, and how do I know I'm being successful? Then I'm making a difference. So I was to a memorial service at the UU church, and this poem was read by a friend of mine. So I thought, maybe this is the answer. So I got that poem, I cut it out, and put it on the refrigerator, where all important papers go at that time. And it's still in my refrigerator, just a different copy. And so I wondered when I found this, I started looking at it and thinking about it, does it inform my perspective? And I found that it has. It has helped me to look for how I can make a difference, even a tiny difference in something. Whether it's a smile to a person on the bus, picking up trash along the street as I walk the dog, as I contribute and sign the check, each thing I can do, I call a success, because we don't get much feedback in this wild, crazy world of ours. So that poem, as long as it has been around, gives me a little bit of guidance about when I get too full of myself or too full of thinking, do I do anything at all? I stop and think, we all do something very special. Thank you.
I invite you all to rise in body or spirit as we sing, We're Gonna Sit at the Welcome Table, which is hymn number 407 in your gray hymnals, or gay hymnals too, I guess. Okay, here we go.
There is a lot of great sound coming from there. There is a lot of great sound coming from there. Wonderful. Excellent. So in a moment, we will engage in a collective act of generosity known as our offering, when we take time to actively support Westside UU congregation and its many ministries with our gifts by text, check, or cash. Each month, we choose a community organization to share 1/3 of our undesignated offering gifts. That is, those donations not designated as your pledge contributions. For the month of September, our community giving recipient is Front and Centered. So Front and Centered is a diverse and powerful coalition of communities of color-led groups across Washington state, whose missions and work come together at the intersection of environmental and climate justice Together with key partners, their coalition actively works towards a just transition away from an extraction-based economy to one centered on ecological restoration, community resilience, and social equity. So you can give by text by sending a message with the $ and the amount you want to give to the number that's on the bottom of the screen. For folks here in the sanctuary who prefer to share your gifts by cash or check, the greeters will move among us shortly. If you'd like your gift to be recorded as coming from you, please use one of the envelopes in the pews. And now please enjoy this gift of music, Una Familia.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott, Corral, musicians. Thank you all for your gifts that contribute to our ministries. So in just a second, Leilani and I are going to lead our Time for All Ages. We are having a multi-generational service today, so afterward we'll ask people to return to their seats instead of going downstairs. But after the service downstairs, there is coloring and games in the RE station, so there will be time for that later. So I will invite you to come down if you'd like to see or hear us better. We're not going to be telling a story today. We're going to be doing a shared activity, a movement experience. And so You might want to come down and have a little bit of space to move around. Maybe you want to stand up where you are or go to the aisles where you can have a little bit of room to move. It's really your choice, whatever makes you comfortable. And I'm going to get my headset and join you down there.
If you want to help create like a loose circle even, face each other, face in, to sit or stand. Yeah, stand. You can stand in the aisles. We're going to have an interactive activity. So we're going to be visualizing, we're going to be speaking, we're going to be moving. So give yourself a little bit of space. Feel free to be in the aisles. If you need to see me, be sure that you're in sight line of me, and Carter will help. We'll repeat what people say, so everyone can be heard. So as you've taken up space, I'm going to have you pause for a moment and breathe. Then I want to have you envision all the kinds of water in the world. All the kinds of water. Then we're going to share and take turns saying one kind of water. Did you want to offer us one to start, kick us off?
Yeah, I think I first think about raindrops.
Rain. Soft rain, heavy rain, Seattle sideways rain. I'll do one, tears. Happy tears. I have happy tears here often. Ocean. So you might visualize the movement. Maybe you don't feel comfortable doing it in your body, so you'll think about the movement, but maybe you'll do the movement. Other water. Creek. A little creek. Little one. Glacier. Ooh, glacier. Cold. Rippling and shower. Oh, the shower. So I'm like getting clean, right? Brush my hair. And then what was rippling? Ooh. A waterfall. And then there's like spray coming off. Hot tub. Oh, how's that? Like, hot. Waves. And a swimming pool. How do I move in? I like to back float. I'm kind of a back float person. River. And a pond, little pond. Drinking water, yeah. A deep lake. And snow. Soft snow. Did anybody see the hail we had recently? Did you see the hail coming down? It scared my dog. She was like, oh, scary hail, scary hail. Was there one over here? I thought I heard someone. Water? Steam. Nice. Well, I'm thinking of my hot cocoa I had this week and the steam coming out of my hot cocoa. Our blood. I didn't hear that one, did you? Puddle. Oh, a puddle. Is there anybody who likes to step in puddles or splash in puddles? We have some splashing back there. Excellent. Oh, saliva. I've got some of that right here. Couple more. Oh, washing dishes, right? We're going to wash our dishes. Yeah. My dishwasher washes my dishes, but that counts too. Laundry. Oh, my laundry. Yeah, my clothes. Yeah. passionate. Or I have a front loader, so mine's going like this. Oh, that is the beautiful one for our last one. We're in our boat. We're in the Salish Sea.
Seawater over here.
Yeah, seawater. We're paddling in our boat, or if we're kayakers, we're doing, So I'm going to have us take a moment, and as we have thought and moved in our bodies, take another breath. Noticing all the types of water around us, connecting us in the world, in the natural world. And holding both that respect for the elders present here, for those who've been protecting the water, for those in the world who don't have water. One more breath. Thank you.
Yes, there are so many kinds of water, and it is all sacred. I want to tell you a story about a time that I learned how sacred water is. When I was in college, I lived for a time in a house with 4 other students, all boys. They were earnest and kind, but our life together, as you might expect, was a little chaotic, raucous, energized. We were the house where someone shaved their head on a dare at a party. I would sometimes come home to find people who didn't live there alone in my living room playing video games. They were waiting for their friends to come home. But I loved living in this house. It was so fun. I felt like I was so different from the rest of my housemates that I could kind of just be myself. There was no way I could fit in, so I didn't even try. I could be this studious, tender person and be welcomed in. But sometimes I needed a place away from the house to have a little bit of a different mood, a different energy. Sometimes when life got challenging, I was burnt out from working too hard or in some relational upheaval or worried about my family back home or feeling deep and existential about the world and the future. I needed a place of quiet, and so I would drive down to the river down the hill. It was the French Broad River in Asheville, North Carolina. And so I would go to this park by the river and just sit for a while. And I didn't think of it as a spiritual practice. There was no moment where I decided, oh, the river is my special place. I hadn't committed to go with any regularity. I just would be having a big day and big feelings, and I would find myself there. And it was such a comforting place. And I believe I have some pictures of it up here. That's the river. The park was usually quiet. It was a place where I could have some alone time, but the river itself helped bring me out of feelings of loneliness. I was alone, but not lonely. I knew that this river and the trees on its banks, and sometimes the moon overhead if it was out, all these beings were so much older and wiser than me, and they could hold me. There was a bigger picture I could be a part of than whatever personal drama I was going through. And the river, it just babbled along, endlessly flowing, reminding me that all of life is about movement, change, and transformation. I couldn't look at the river for many seconds before it was a different river. Different water was flowing past me in every moment. And it was doing it with such ease and yet power. The river was this constant, but also it was constantly changing. And so I had this little ritual that I didn't really tell anyone about because it was just something I did. I didn't think it was something worth talking about. Until one day, my housemates and I, me and the 4 boys, we were hanging out in the kitchen talking about the evening before, And someone commented on how one of my housemates had just mysteriously disappeared for quite some time. And we were like, where did you go? What happened? And we asked him to explain himself, and he said, oh yeah, I was just feeling overwhelmed, so I went to sit by the river for a while. And I said, oh, you do that too? And one by one, all 5 of us revealed that we each separately had the same ritual. When we were feeling overwhelmed, we would go and sit by the river, and it's a wonder none of us ran into each other there. Since that moment, I have understood a truth. Rivers are spiritually powerful, and it's something that we don't even have to think about, we just know it. And now I find myself drawn to rivers wherever I go in the world. This is still the French Broad. This is early one morning. It was really a precious one. I think about, as well, the Haw River that I grew up alongside in Chatham County, North Carolina. I recently learned that its name is one of the only remaining words of the native Catawban language that was spoken in the region. There aren't many words remaining, but we have this word Haw, which describes the foothills of the area. When I visit its rocky rapids and its swooping blue herons, I remember that communities of people have lived along this river in a far greater scope of history than I will ever know. And I think of the Ganges River in India. Its water is known around the world as sacred. Its path the site of many important stories in Hindu mythology. I know how much it's depended on and how many people name it and affirm it as special. And so this affirms my belief that rivers are special. And then living in Boston, in the heady world of seminary, it was the Charles River that reminded me that I was not, in fact, living in an endless techno-urban world, but I was still here on a planet and not so far from the open waters of the ocean. And now I have made a home in the Northwest at the convergence of 2 rivers. In Portland, the Willamette River is a meeting place, the center axis of the city's life. And for many hundreds of years, this river's valley was a meeting place. It has been for so long. Indigenous groups from around the region would gather there for seasonal trading, events, and festivals. And the Columbia River, with its impressive canyon walls from this prehistoric flood, has these fierce winds and deep waters that remind me that water is something mighty. It's more powerful than I can easily imagine. And here in West Seattle, we are in relationship with the Duwamish River. We are challenged to right the balance of a history of polluting industry on the water. There is this call to care for its ecosystem and honor it as sacred. The relationship with each of these rivers, and any river you find yourself near, there's this depth of life and connection to a larger community. Humans across the globe and throughout history have made their lives upon and alongside rivers. For eons, we have harnessed their movement to travel across continents. We have been blessed by their floodplains that bring nutrients to the soil. They are meeting places and holy sites and places to gather food. And in recent centuries, humans have also learned to misuse rivers, and we are learning how to clean up those messes. Our worship theme for this service and for the church year is Confluence. Confluence is the word we use to describe multiple streams becoming one, flowing together. All rivers come out of a confluence of many streams, and rivers merge with other rivers as they move toward the sea. In honoring sacred waters this morning, I want to invite us to think of this community as a sacred river. In Unitarian Universalism, we often imagine our living tradition as a running stream. We know that we are constantly changing. You cannot step into the same river twice. We know that this faith is sourced from many tributaries, is always moving and shifting. We have so many sources of inspiration, and we meet new ones as time goes along. And like a river, Westside is a meeting place. Far from a still and unchanging pool, we are a vibrant, ever-flowing force. We bring the streams of our varied lives together, and this is where we find our power. This place is sacred like a river. I want to invite us to remember this throughout our year together. We can choose to gather resources and move with purpose toward a common destination. Maybe our C is beloved community. If we are a river, we can be part of shaping the landscape around us. Rivers are strong and persistent in a gentle and humble way. May we be strong and persistent too. The beauty of a confluence is that in coming together, something new is created that is more than the sum of its parts. So come, let us converge into one river. May this be a place where you can find comfort and peace on your challenging days. And when you come to this river, may you be reminded that you are part of something so much larger than yourself. May we be inspired by the steady movement, the constant transformation of rivers, and their quiet power. Let us learn to be like the river and flow into this new year together. let us hold a time of meditation and prayer as we do each time we gather. We hold the joys and sorrows of this community. We have 2 sorrows submitted this week. First, Richard Clark has been diagnosed with coronary artery blockages. He is under monitoring. He is thankful for the support he has received from the men's group and asks for support from the wider community. Second, Kim Frappier is mourning the loss of her mother, Louise, who died last month at the age of 95. Kim writes, "Louise was a deeply faith-filled person who loved tennis, the ocean, eating tomatoes off the vine, and spending time with her many grandchildren, children, and great-grandchildren. Please hold Kim and her family in your hearts at this time." And also, many of us in this community are holding in our hearts people lost to violence that we've been learning about in the news this week. We hold in our hearts the whole community of Appalachia High School in Georgia, who are mourning the loss of 2 students and 2 teachers in a mass shooting. May they be comforted in their grief, and may we all work to build a world free from the devastation of gun violence. As we hold these sorrows in our hearts and minds, we know that there are many more that have not been spoken. Let us hold all the joys and sorrows here in this community that remain unspoken. Let us remember that in this community we are here to hold each other, we care for one another, and let others care for us. Let us breathe together. If you'd like to get settled in your seat and close your eyes. This is a moment precious and unique, different from any other, and we get to share it with one another. In all that we hold, let us feel what we bring into this space, the preciousness of what we share with this community. We will soon begin a time of ritual, and I invite you to hold a steady feeling of contemplation with you. Maybe this feeling can be carried through our water communion. If your eyes are closed, you may open them now if you wish.
And yes, soon we will have a chance to join together for our water ceremony, or water communion, which for many years has been a part of Ingathering here at Westside. Lots of Unitarian Universalist congregations do this at this time of year, so it feels like it might have been part of UU worship services forever. But the first time it took place was actually in 1980, which I know for some feels like a really long time ago, and for some of us feels like, not so long. It was in 1980 at an important international gathering of UU women held in Michigan, a service they called Coming Home Like Rivers to the Sea. The organizers created a new ritual that used the collecting of water to express our connectedness to one another, to the totality of life, and to our place on the planet. And so it is with Westside as we reconnect today.
Yes, like those women, we will participate in sharing water. Some of us may have collected waters over the summer, or some of you have gathered some this morning on the way here. If you didn't bring water and you would like to pour some, we have a pitcher here to share, to just pour a splash in, so all are welcome. There are some people who may choose to pour out empty cups in solidarity with people in Gaza who are struggling to access water this year. Whatever you have to give, we will mingle these gifts on our common altar. Water, one of the essential elements of life, the main molecule in our body, is something that connects us to each other. Zen teacher Thich Nhat Hanh says, if you look deeply into a drop of water, you will see that it contains all the elements of the universe within it. Let this water ceremony remind us of our connection with one another, the universe in each drop of water. And as we celebrate water, let us also remember and honor all those in our wider world for whom water is not easily accessible. May we live in ways that honor the sacred dignity of water and work to ensure that it is a resource available for all. So now you are invited to come, as we always do in this community, down the sides of the pews, give your offering, and return to your seat down the center aisle. Or if you would not like to come down yourself, you may give your offering to a neighbor. If you are viewing from home, you might want to add some water to a vessel in front of you and hold it as an object of meditation. So come, let us begin. thank you for all you have brought. As we close out this ritual, I want to invite you into just a few more moments of deep breathing while I offer these words from Reverend Ann Barker. All water is holy water, from the sky or from the sea or from the tap. It is not holy because we bless it. It is not holy because we gather with it in reverence. It is holy because it is the stuff of life. Its movement in our veins is part of a larger stream that comes from sources that stretch back farther than history. And it stretches into a future that reaches farther forward in imagination. And its place in us, water's place within us, makes us part of this great story.
I invite you all to rise in body or spirit as we sing Blue Boat Home, which is hymn number 1064 in the teal hymnals, if you are interested in looking along with the music. Go below me, I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I climb the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, breathe the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Thank you.
My goodness, it is good to be together today. What a great way to end the service, Scott. Thank you. And to the chorale, so glad to see you, so glad to have you back. To our instrumentalist, John Hansen, our guest percussionist, Cliff Swiggett, thank you so much for joining us today. To Reverend Carter and Leilani for the wonderful interactive story. To Cindy Jackson for lighting our chalice. To Nate Mesner and Henry, just lost his last name, oh my goodness. Nate and Henry is what my script says, so that's what it'll be. Thank you so much in the AV booth. I'll remember Henry's name next time. To our ushers and our hospitality team downstairs, make sure to thank them when you go downstairs. And finally, heartfelt from all of us, to Shannon Day, for everything. You know, there are people about whom they say the place couldn't happen without them. You know that it's true. But I also want to express gratitude to all the volunteers who kept things going this summer and all the time so that our staff could be elsewhere for learning and being refreshed for the year ahead. So as always, it is a pleasure and blessing to be together to do this sacred work as a community. And you know, because it was previewed a lot, that Ingathering continues. So here's a great description of what's going to go on downstairs, the many options for joyful connection and community at our community fair Ingathering. There's going to be voter swag bag raffle and spinner gifts at the welcome table. There's going to be get out the vote discussion and information table. There's going to be a sing-along under the tent in the parking lot. There's going to be Ari Graham's face painting, No to I-2117 sign making, committee sign-ups at information tables, circulate the room, connect with a board member. Hint, they will be wearing huge board name tags. You cannot miss them. And of course, there will be delicious snacks and chatting with friends and welcoming newcomers. So look for the conversation starters downstairs at the round tables, follow the stairs down to the social hall either end, or the lift here directly at the service. See you there. So also, members and friends, make sure to look at your West Side Week because it's always full of things we need to know. It was sent out on Friday. Please note that there is a link to register for covenant groups for this year, as well as information on how to get connected to other exciting opportunities for our community. Our next Sunday service will be on September 22nd, when Reverend Carter and Liz Bucklew will present With Souls That Make Our Souls Wiser on the theme of honoring the individuality alive within our interdependence.
We will part from here, but I hope not too soon. But when we leave here, let us remember that this is a place, a home that we can return to. Let this community be a place of refuge when the world becomes overwhelming, and let it be a place of healing. And as we heal, may we find companions here for the work that is ours to do in the world. To each of you, a blessing as we enter this year together. I wish you comfort and peace, clarity of mission, and most of all, the feeling of connection to something larger than yourself. I will invite Cindy to come forward and release our flame. As she does so, may you go into this week blessed and blessing the world. We hold you in our love as you go.
So we are going to be singing one of our new rotations for our finale song, the song that we leave as our sending song. So the chorale is going to sing it through first, but I invite you all to rise in body or spirit as we sing this. It's called Go Well, My Friend. We did it a couple of times ago, but we're doing it again, and this is going to become one of our regular morning things that we do. So the chorale will go through it once so that you can get used to it, and then we'll sing it all together a couple more times.
Nice tune.